so much. And again, for the sake of, kasi kahapon lang I had Sonny Trillanes and I said, Senator Trillanes, parang ayaw mo magpakita sa show ko, tampo ka ba sa akin? Sabi, hindi, akala ko ikaw nagtampo, kaya nag-worry ako, baka nagtampo ka rin, Justice, kasi nagkaroon ng konting misunderstanding sa hot mic moment last week. But just to be clear, I think we made it clear that some of those things were supposed to be off the record and there was a misunderstanding, but I think enough clarification has been made. Justice Carpio, great to have you back, Justice.
Okay, thank you for having me again, Richard.
Again, eto, live na tayo, Justice. Baka naman, no? Ito, live na talaga to. Okay, Justice, just as we mentioned, no, I posted a highlight of our discussion kahapon. We got hundreds of thousands of views. Hindi ito yung yung comment about the Jimmy Bundok and all. This is the comment about the Ombudsman. So last week when we were together, you made it absolutely clear na ang laki ng responsibilidad at mandato ng Ombudsman. And as we all kind of expected, here we are, Remulla is the Ombudsman, Justice. First of all, what is your read of this choice and what are your expectations?
Well, I expected him to be appointed because I think he's he will do what is the most important thing is to because the impeachment was killed already,
Yeah.
and the way to hold the vice president accountable is just to get the bank records from the uh, money anti-money laundering council, and that is his. I think that's what he will do now.
Absolutely. Justice. So what about the kind of the background story, all these efforts by mga DDS, sila Amy Marcos, mga ganun, to sabotage his candidacy and that may have kind of delayed the process. What is your read
Yes,
of that? Yeah.
because I think the DDS read correctly that
Yeah.
Remulla will ask for the bank records from the anti-money laundering council, and he will start an investigation of the bank accounts, no? Whether the SALN states correctly the assets and liabilities of the Duterte family who are public officials.
Yeah.
And because these bank accounts are joint accounts with the former president, so they read that correctly. That's why they tried to block it twice. I mean, after having Senator Amy Marcos file that complaint for kidnapping, and that despite that, the acting ombudsman cleared Remulla, they filed again through uh, Pulong,
Yeah.
the congressman. But of course, it's very obvious that it's just really harassment now,
Yeah.
because they don't want him to be appointed, and everybody knew he would be the one who would be appointed. So everybody read it correctly, and we are now here. And as I said in interviews earlier, the ombudsman must not engage in selective prosecution.
Yeah.
He should go after the supporters of Duterte, the supporters of Marcos, the supporters of Romualdez, all those involved. He should go where the evidence will lead him. That's the only way to do it correctly. And if he does not, if he becomes selective, he will go after
Yeah.
the Duterte people only. Then that will boomerang on him. That will boomerang on the president, and he will lose credibility. He has to be very fair.
Yeah.
He will investigate and prosecute all those who should be investigated and prosecuted, regardless of political affiliations.
Just as before we go to that part, I mean, yung power sa ombudsman and what would be the best version of the current ombudsman. Kasi tama yung sinabi ni Congressman Percy, di ba, na the bar is very low coming from the previous ombudsman we had. So like, it won't take a genius to kind of be an improvement. But before going there, Justice, it's not like Remulla was the only choice, right? Not only was the journey fraught, to put it mildly, and dami mga efforts to derail his candidacy, but with BBM choosing him among seven, no? Seven yung final, ano eh, di ba? Yung short list. What do you think that says that BBM chose him? It's not like the other choices were necessarily bad, right? So does that signal something? Is BBM trying to say something by appointing his DOJ secretary?
Well, I think among all of those candidates, I think it's Boeing Remulla who has the courage
Right.
to go against the 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 biggest political figures in the country. He's the one who has the courage.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't think anyone would have the courage uh, to battle all to do battle with all the political families that will be that will face charges before the ombudsman.
Uh, Thank you for that, Justice. So, para lang sa mga audiences natin who were not able to catch yung episode natin almost 2 months ago kung saan natin pinag-usapan yung kahalagaan ng Ombudsman Office. Justice Carpio, in a 101 way, pwede niyo explain anong kahalagaan ng Ombudsman Office, ano yung mga puwersa niya at mandato niya para maintindihan ng tao na gaano ka big deal ito. Bakit nagpapanik yung mga DDS in particular? Yeah.
Well, in connection with that, there was this post of Attorney Topacio that nako, pag si Boying, patay tayo lahat. Well, the
Is
Office
Topacio
of the
the Ronald
Ombudsman.
Llamas of the other side? Like may transparent honesty talaga siya.
Well, I have been saying that the Office of the Ombudsman is the most powerful office next to the
Yeah.
president
Right.
under the government.
Right.
And why is that? Because, first of all, he has a fixed tenure of 7 years.
Yeah.
He is an impeachable officer, so he's not answerable to any other official except through impeachment, just like the president. He is autonomous. He's not under the supervision or control of any other official or any other body. His office is an independent constitutional office. He has fiscal autonomy.
Yeah.
He's that means more or less his budget is assured every year, so he doesn't have to beg Congress for budget. And then he has disciplinary authority over the entire bureaucracy, except those who are impeachable, uh, and except those who are in the executive, except the judges, because the
Right.
judges are under the supervision of the Supreme Court and bank. So uh, his power to discipline includes the power to suspend and to dismiss
Right.
from public service any government official under his jurisdiction, and that's almost the entire executive department, except the president and the vice president, who are impeachable. So very powerful. He can investigate anyone, motu proprio. That
Yeah.
means on his own accord. He doesn't need any complainant. If if he receives an anonymous letter, he can act on it. He can start his own investigation. So it's a very powerful office, and
Right.
he uh, he can file criminal cases before the Sandigan Bayan. He has a battery of lawyers with him to
Yeah.
prosecute. So a very powerful office.
A very powerful office that Justice Corbin not many people are aware of for some reason. Is it also because the former ombudsman was almost a non-existent entity in a sense that no one can anong ginawa niya unlike 6 years of digong, right? Like everyone will ask like who was the ombudsman? Ano ulit? Like, di ba? Do you think that's the reason? Because I know when your distant cousin, Conchita Morales Carpio, was there, people kind of like, oh yeah, ombudsman. And then parang, nakalimutan ng tao sino yung ombudsman, like people really forgot about that institution. Is it really a reflection of the inaction and the omissions that happened under the previous ombudsman?
Yes, the previous ombudsman, first of all, said that he will not allow the public access to the statement of assets and liabilities. And that was
Right.
a big thing because Before that, people had access to the assets and statement of assets and liabilities, and that was that really turned off a lot of people, no? And remember that every year, all public officials, public employees are required to
Yeah.
file a statement of assets and liabilities. And just above the signature of that statement of nationalities, there's a provision. I hereby authorize the Ombudsman to verify my assets and
Yeah.
liabilities
Yeah.
with the records of any appropriate government agency. And one of the appropriate government agencies is the Anti-Money Laundering Council. If you have deposits of 500,000 pesos or more, you are immediately reported by the bank uh, to the AMLA, and your file, that record will be there. And the Ombudsman can access that upon request to the Anti-Money Laundering Council. And that's exactly what happened to the Corona impeachment.
Yeah.
The Ombudsman requested the bank records of former Chief Justice Corona, and the Anti-Money Laundering Council gave the records. And that's what the ombudsman used in the impeachment case. And so the new ombudsman now, Secretary Mulya, can request the
Right.
bank records from AMLA, from the Anti-Money Laundering Council, the bank records of Sara Duterte and the Duterte family, because they're all public officials, to verify the assets and liabilities. That's how powerful the ombudsman is.
So just to do a scenario building, um because some people are asking, wait, di ba VP si Sara Duterte, hindi ba siya immune? Di ba impeachment lang is the only way to get her out? But the VP is could be criminally held accountable, right? I mean, hindi naman presidente yung vice president. What is the jurisprudence in terms of the immunity level or liability to legal culpability ng isang vice presidente when it comes to the ombudsman?
Well, the ombudsman, of course, uh, the the impeachable officers, the president, vice president, and the others, can be removed only upon impeachment. No?
Exactly, yeah.
The ombudsman cannot conduct an investigation for the purpose of removing,
Right.
but he can conduct an investigation, and the results of his investigation he can forward to the House for the House to file the impeachment complaint.
Yeah.
He can do that with all impeachable officers. He can investigate, and then whatever results of the results of his investigation, he can forward that to the House for the House uh, to take up in an impeachment proceeding. No?
So pwede niya
So
i-trigger ang new impeachment proceeding.
yes, there will be a new. So what he will do after getting the bank records, and if there's basis, he will forward it to the House for appropriate action, and the House will, if they warrant, if they think it's warranted, they will file now the impeachment complaint with the Senate.
I just wanted to go back again to the jurisprudence around this, justice, because there was a debate back in 2018, 2019. This was when Lenny Robredo was being accused by the DDS camp as being seditious or basically destabilizer and all of that. And the argument that was used by back then the Solicitor General Menardo Guevara and other people is that the vice president doesn't enjoy as much immunity from criminal liability. Just for people who are a little bit confused around this, can a vice president be held criminally accountable for a high crime?
Yes, but after impeachment.
Mm.
While in office, he cannot be sued criminally, but he has to be impeached first. And then after he's removed from office, the criminal case can be filed. Because if he is sued criminally first, he will be removed he is convicted. He will be imprisoned. That means he will be removed from office because you can't exercise the
Right.
functions of your office if you are jailed. So that will violate the provision of the Constitution which says he can be removed only by impeachment.
for the purpose of audience who are not familiar with the logic behind that, bakit ang presidente at vice-presidente dapat impeachment lang ang basihan para matanggal sila? Because that undermines the national interest, the operation of the state, parang ganun yung idea.
Yes, the idea is that they should not be harassed in the performance of their duties because they are high level.
Yeah.
They are high level officials. Most all of these impeachable officers cannot be sued criminally unless they are removed by impeachment. But the moment that they no longer hold office, then they can be sued criminally already.
And what about so again, thank you for Justice for emphasizing that yung ability nila to function, no, their ability to exercise their duties as heads of state, no, so mahalaga yan. Kasi in the US also there's that debate ba whether a president can be held accountable for private crimes or crimes that have nothing to do with this exercise of duty. But you know, the US Supreme Court had a very important ruling on that a few years ago. But going back to the Philippines, just what about disqualification from running in the future? Can there be a criminal case filed that disqualifies from future election, not now? Like, what about that
Well,
angle?
in most of these cases under the anti-graft law, if the offense is serious, there is usually an accessory penalty of perpetual
Disqualification.
disqualification to
Yeah,
hold public office for
yeah,
serious offenses under the anti-graft law.
right.
So the moment you are convicted by final judgment, you cannot run for public office because of that accessory penalty.
So you don't need impeachment for that.
You don't need impeachment for,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly, because some people are saying, well, naging busy naman, pero kung maging accountable enough not to be able to run for president, baka that's just good enough, right? Parang there's also that school of thought. Binabalikan ko yan kasi maraming tao may tanong dito, Justice, and I remember when Menardo Guevara raised this back in the day. Sorry, DOJ Secretary siya noon, then naging Solicitor General under BBM. People were wondering like, yeah, so what is the level of immunity of the vice president? And obviously back in the day, many of our folks were defending Lenny Robredo because they felt that was a harassment, and as a vice president, she was not being given due consideration of her constitutional immunity, etc. But now, of course, we're in different world. So Justice, I just have a question here. So, how does the ombudsman now interface with the ICI? Because the ICI is, sabihin natin, a new innovation, right? And to be honest, marami pa rin nagkakamot ng ulo. Kagabi lang nakita ko si Mayor Magalong was angry, binastos daw siya kasi advisor lang daw siya, bakit ganyan. So medyo magulo yung ICI eh. But ideally, Justice, how can the ICI and the Ombudsman work together in a kind of a symbiotic way para mapunta naman
Well,
tayo towards accountability? Yeah.
well, the ICI conducts its investigation, and the results of their investigation are merely recommendatory to
Right.
the ombudsman. The ICI cannot file criminal cases directly. It will have to be done by the ombudsman. So they are just investigating whether a complaint should be filed with the ombudsman, basically. And the ombudsman will conduct its own preliminary investigation for confirmation and then file that with the Sandigan Bayan or with the proper court.
So basically, a kind of a addendum to their investigative arm, parang ganun.
Yeah. Actually, now, if my position is that if the new ombudsman will do his job properly,
Yeah.
we can do away with
Yeah.
the ICI.
Yeah.
Because it's just another layer. The reason why it was created because of public clamor at that time, the ombudsman was martires and
Yeah.
people, and he was not very active, and they wanted some action. The people wanted immediate action, so the ICI was created. But the ICI now is being criticized because it's secretive.
Yeah.
Its proceedings are not open, and we don't know what's happening in the ICI unless they give a press report. But my belief is that if after a few months a month or two, we see the new ombudsman doing his job properly, we should just ask the ICI to turn over the work to the ombudsman, because the ombudsman is a big office. That office is a big office. They have a
Justice
lot of
Carp.
lawyers, a lot of investigators, and they can do the job.
Yeah, so I mean, you could also see the ICI being subsumed basically by the ombudsman, no? Parang addendum to its investigative body kasi parang pangit naman biglang, ay, hindi na kayo kailangan, itapon na namin kayo, di ba? Parang ang pangit din tignan. There could be like, or justice, in a more ideal situation, sabihin natin, the ICI opens yung kanilang mga hearings and investigations to public, basically to the public, to basically generate political momentum. Is that possible? So that when ombudsman goes after this person, sabihin ng tao, oh nga, obvious dun sa mga investigation, ano, may kalokohan na ginawa. I mean, so I'm talking politically now, Justice, right? Could you see a situation where symbiotically the ICI could create not political cover, but political momentum for the ombudsman to go after
Yeah,
these people? Kasi sabi nito,
yeah.
oh, bakit ito yung inaano ng ombudsman? Selective yan. Pero, hindi, nabooking na nga dun sa ICI hearing ganito, ganyan So, tama lang ginagawa ng ombudsman. I could see them symbiotically working that way, no, Justice?
Yeah, that's possible if the proceedings are made public.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be televised, as
Yeah.
long as there are news reporters there to
Yeah.
report to the people.
Yung key points,
Then
yeah.
it might help, because this is a matter of restoring the confidence of the people in our institutions. But you cannot restore confidence if you're not showing the people that you're doing your work. So it's important that the people are shown that the executive department is actually investigating. But if the
Yeah.
investigation is done behind closed doors, then it will just raise suspicions, because remember, the people involved here are supporters of President Marcos,
Yeah.
the supporters of Duterte, and those allied with Romualdez. These are the three groups basically who are involved in the flood control projects. So, in other words, the administration is investigating its own people.
Yeah.
And it's like Congress investigating their own members. So there's always skepticism, and that's why, to remove that skepticism, it should be the proceeding should be open to the public.
Absolutely. Having said that, Justice, that's the ideal situation. I know you're not Ronald Diamas, but if you were to hazard, I mean, of course, in a very polite way, because you're a magistrate, ex-magistrate. But what is your realistic expectation? Like, kumaga, ano ang dapat i-expect natin, given the realities of our politics and the coordinates of, I mean, yung isang araw lang pinag-usapan natin, destabilization, fears of RevGov. So ngayon, medyo nag-die down yung tensions But realistically, what can we expect under Remulla Ombudsman? Will be this the way by which the Marcoses will pin down the Dutertes? Is that what we're realistically expecting, or at least that will be the attempt?
Well, definitely the Ombudsman will go after two of the three groups.
Yeah.
But on the other group, below those supporters of Marcos, that's the big question mark.
Yeah.
We have to give him the benefit of the doubt that
Yeah,
he
yeah.
will do that also. But as I said, we will be watching him.
We'll be watching him. Exactly. So it's
We will be very vigilant, and I hope that he will not be selective. He will. He will investigate everybody who deserves to be investigated, prosecute everyone who deserves to be prosecuted.
absolutely. Justice, on the latter part of our discussion now, what about the aspect of the Senate? So Lacson relinquishing his position sa Blue Ribbon Committee. So within a span of few weeks, we saw two basically changes already in the Blue Ribbon Committee, and then Kiko doesn't want to take it up. JV turned it down. I mean, like, there's so many people turning it down, like Tulfo turned it down. Parang nakita ko. Do you think it just makes sense?
Who accepted it as acting.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm talking about Rafi Tulfo. Yeah, I think Rafi turned it down kasi
Rafi turned it down.
Rafi turned daw,
So
sabi niya
it's
busy daw siya kasi labor issues. Kiko also more or less the same. Tatlo na daw yung committee niya. So, no one wants to take it out. I mean, I was suggesting Riza Ontiveros kasi I know Riza was the one being considered initially next to Lacson, and neither of them are lawyers, and I don't think you have to be lawyer per se to be a Blue Ribbon Committee chair. But do you think the Senate hearings and investigation really went off the rails? Kasi ako, feeling ko the moment na weaponize yung insertion issue to even target Riza Ontiveros, who's known as the only progressive really there in the Senate, to be honest about it. I just felt this was getting out of control. That Lacson was a bit shotgun approach, and by demonizing all sorts of di ba amendment lang ginawa ni Risa eh. Hindi naman siya yung BICAM insertion, dodgy, Diskaya, flood control project eh. But a certain journalist, supposedly, siningle out niya si Risa. Ay, hindi, may insertion din yan eh. So a part of me feels like the Senate thing was completely out of control. Buti nga yung Kongreso, they tinanggap nila na at least now Sandro said, di ba, we're not gonna investigate ourselves. It's not gonna be credible, right? So let's just leave it to another body. What is your read of the saga in the Senate? Kasi it's a mess too.
well, I think uh, Lacson had to resign because he was stepping on the shoes of colleagues
Yeah.
who were involved in the insertion and in most probably in the uh, flood control scam. So, uh, of course, there will be blowback. Uh, so I think if he did not resign, they would change the Senate president. There would be a
Yeah.
coup. So he sacrificed himself by resigning, and that's why Senator Soto is still there. In other words, the problem is many of them are suspected to have made those insertions
Yeah.
and probably got involved also in the kickbacks. So it would be very difficult for the Senate to investigate itself. And if it tries to investigate itself, this is what will happen. The investigator will be booted out by those who are being investigated.
Which is what
And
exactly Congress said. You cannot really trust us to investigate ourselves
yeah,
because they saw this coming.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, that's a problem. And uh, well, you have to give it to Senator Lacson for trying. But of course,
Yeah.
the those who will be uh, hurt by his investigation, those who will be exposed by his investigation, wouldn't want the investigation to continue. So that is why the ICI was initially created
Yeah.
on the theory that the House and the Senate, their members are involved since they passed the Appropriations Act. Then there should be an independent body. But that independent body is turning out to be very secretive. They're not transparent. So there's again criticism from the public. And in the meantime, we have a new ombudsman,
Right.
and the hope is that he will do his job properly. So that's where we are now. The the uh, turmoil in the House and in the Senate was precisely because they were trying to investigate themselves. That was the basic problem. Uh, and of course, that could not happen. I mean, eventually, something has to give.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. And that's why the ICI was created, because of that inherent contradiction, a conflict of interest among themselves. The House and the Senate, they would be investigating their own. There will be a conflict of interest. But the ICI is turning out to be something mysterious now because
Yun din
they
eh.
don't want
Yeah.
to be transparent. So the people are criticizing. And so the hope now is being transferred to the Ombudsman. But we will be very vigilant.
Yeah.
Of course, there will be those who are skeptical, but let's uh, let's uh, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, uh, I know Boying Remulla. He will, I think, do his best. I believe, but we have to we have to see it that he will actually do it,
Yeah.
and the only way to 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 guard against any misstep is to be vigilant.
Yeah. Trust but verify. No, it's like, we're giving them benefit of doubt pero babantayan natin. Basically, that's our position. Last part, Justice, because we started a bit late. I know it's also late in the evening there. Um, last part, Justice, I want to start off this last part with Risa Hontiveros. Kasi suddenly parang, ano yun, parang black ops pa yan? Why would she be so singled out? Why all of these attacks on her? And what, last time I checked, it was amendment, di ba? Hindi naman siya nag-insertion dun sa BICAM. Hindi naman siya Diskaya project na may district engineer na
Yeah.
nakilala. What is your read of that whole thing about Risa Hontiveros?
Well, I think they were trying to drag her down,
Yeah.
because he was turning out to be the only immaculate
Yeah.
member of the Senate. But actually, she voted against that General Appropriations Act. I mean, the fact that you voted against it, that means you didn't want to have anything to do with it.
Yun nga,
That's
could
the
you
bottom
explain
line
that,
is that
Justice? Yeah, could you explain
she
that?
voted against the General Appropriations Act. And from what I know, she had no insertions there. I mean,
Right.
because if you have insertions, you would vote for it.
Exactly. But amendment is legit, right? You can make certain amendments in the budget because you feel dito kulang, dito dagdag, dito bawas. For instance, yung di ba yung CHR, 1,000 peso budget lang gusto nila Marcoleta back in the day. I mean, you can amend that, right? I mean, you can change those. That's legit, right? Hindi
Yes.
naman ano yun, ghost project yun just because you amended certain part of the budget that you felt was questionable.
Yeah. I mean, there could she could have made amendments, but not for amendment to insert uh, a fund uh, coming from PhilHealth, from the DepEd, transferring it to the Department of Public Works and Highways. I mean, the amendments didn't happen there.
Right.
But bottom line, she voted against it. So how
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
she didn't want anything to do with the budget.
Yeah, medyo like, why would you vote against something na may insertion ka na supposedly benefiting you, no? But talagang it didn't make sense. Kaya sabi ko, we're fair. If someone did something wrong, let's call it out. But like, sobrang dodgy na bakit si Riza Ontiveros nang single out tapos parang na-edit, di ba? Nilabas lang yung part lang ni Riza daw. Hello, on the record, clearly si Riza has been against that budget and in theory, amendments make work. So, which leaves us really, this is the closing part, Justice. What should the pink progressive good governance people do? Should there be another massive rally protest katulad nung trillion peso march? Should this be a regular thing? How to keep the feet of these politicians close to fire, kumbaga, so for them to behave and do it properly?
Well, what we're doing now is we're going to push for people's initiative
Yeah.
to adopt the anti-political dynasty law, because that's really the 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 core problem of our of government now, because uh, the political dynasties control Congress actually. So they insert pork barrel into the budget so that when they run, they have money to buy votes. Basically, that's the
Yeah.
scheme. And they perpetuate themselves in power using public funds. So we want to put an end to that. The Constitution says Congress must prohibit actually political dynasties. This may be defined by law. 40 years almost now, and they have not done it. So uh, we will we will initiate a people's initiative uh, to enact an anti-political dynasty law. And we will also initiate a Freedom of Information Act through People's Initiative, and also uh, a provision, a law that will uh, require civil society to be part of the bidding process in
Right.
public infrastructure work. They will be part of the bidding committee. They will have to sign off, and for every in payment, they will have to sign off. So there will be no more ghost projects if civil society is there. So we have to be more active now.
Uh, just to be clear, just is there like a group? Is there a website? Like, how can people help this initiative? Because hindi madali magkaroon ng PI, right? Yung People's Initiative.
Yes, it's
How can
it's
people
very
help?
difficult.
Yeah,
Well, we have now committees are drafting the proposals, the different. We have actually five proposals, and uh, there will be an educational program to explain these five proposals, and we will have to get the signatures of
yeah.
3% of the registered voters in each district, 12% nationwide, 3% per legislative district. So it's a lot of work,
It's a lot
and
of work.
we
Yeah.
will use we'll ask the students, the youth, to help us gather the signatures.
Mabuhay ka, Justice Carpio. I know, nagrereklamo ka na nung, although off the record, yung sabi mo matanda na tayong lahat to do this, but mabuhay ka dyan. Yun naman ang maganda, yung medyo may off the record, they could see your really hard work, Justice. All I can say is, mas naging rockstar ka, although, again, just to be clear, my hot mic moment yan. Thank you, Justice Carpio. Whether you're off the record, on the record version, you are a hero to us. Tuloy-tuloy lang yan, Justice Carpio, and looking forward. Dun sa year-ender natin, let's try to set up something with Sir Ronald Llamas. I'm thinking of a Manila House event. So, dun sa mga followers natin, God willing, inshallah, we'll set up something by the end of the year para tuloy yung itong mga All-Star, di ba? Justice Carpio All-Star
Okay.
edition natin. God bless po, and talk to you soon. Salamat,
Okay.
Justice.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you to our viewers.
Good evening po, sir. Thank you so much, guys. I'll run to my next appointment. Buti nga na nahabol natin yan. Oh, ito guys, oh, hot mic moment yan. Pasensyahan na lang. Oh. Wala naman nagalit eh. Ano lang, ano nakakatuwa yung mga... Anyways, thank you so much, guys, for that wonderful moment again. Please check out yung in-upload natin, yung episode natin with Senator Antonio Trillanes, yung ating episode on ICC and the drama in the Senate, and also his position on the Riza Ontiveros issue. Please also check out this episode, God willing, i-upload naman natin bukas. So don't worry about it. Ito, ano lang to. This is the dirty kitchen back of the kitchen kind of version that we'll publish the final version tomorrow naman. So go to our YouTube channel. Well, you are already on our YouTube channel. So check out yung mga videos na upload natin dyan. And thank you also sa mga komenta natin from Facebook who are also joining us here dito sa maliit natin komunidad. Yung iba ng pina-private ko or yung mga ibang special episodes, they'll be exclusive dyan lang sa mga community members natin. So we're gonna have more and more exclusives only dun sa mga ating mga community members. So thank you very